Greetings again from the chapel of La Merced here in the church parish of Corpus Christi. It's a pleasure to be with you again in this interview that we do every week with anyone from our parish or even from outside our parish. And it's nice to hear from them, their vocations and their lives. And we want to welcome back again Deacon Tony Perez. As you know, he was with us a few days ago, and we are going to listen to the second part of his life. Today, talking about his vocation to the diaconate. So, we're going to welcome again Deacon Tony. How are you?
Doing just fine. We were talking, this could turn out to be a book one day, right? It's a wonderful story because you see the manifestation of God in my life, and I get to share it with everyone who is interested in seeing how God reveals himself through our lifetime and changes us as we walk through that journey. You know, we left off at with the last interview when I went to the first visit at the hospital, and that first weekend when I was ordained. And it's interesting that we go back to that ordination, Father, because I was ordained on December 6, 2008, and it's the feast of St. Nicholas. Mm-hmm. And the connection there is that you remember that when Nikki was born,
right,
if it was a boy, it was going to be Nicholas. And it was through...
I know you remember that story. Eh?
Yeah, I hope.
Refreshing us.
Yeah, and so if we're able to connect those dots, we never forget that it was through those difficult moments at Children's Hospital, through that night before the surgery, where I felt the emptiness of being alone and having to go through this, and then having Father Paul Voturo.
Right. So you remember the story, that was the end of the other interview that we have, that your daughter had a tumor, and Father Buturo showed up in the morning, and you were very impressed, and because he was your friend.
Right.
Okay. Continue then.
And he went out of his way. But before, as I was finishing up the diaconate preparation, I had Father José Luis, and we go back again. And you have to watch the first part, because if you don't watch the first part, you get lost. Yes. You got to be able to see. You got to be able to see both parts. And I met Father José Luis back in 1980, 82, 83.
Were you a deacon already?
No, I was just a merely 22, 23-year-old man trying to find himself in the way of...
So you did the youth encounters?
Oh, I did the youth encounter, and it was a wonderful experience for me, life-changing. It didn't change me overnight, but it did align me and guided me to walk towards the light from there on out.
You were blessed to have Father Menéndez.
Oh.
Because Father Menéndez was a leader at that time.
Yeah, back then. I always tell people, I says, I known him when he used to have black hair. You guys go back that long.
All right, okay, don't mention. Let's keep going.
But the one interesting thing, and it happens, God has a way of laying things down, and then everything comes around full circle. Father José Luis ends up being at Corpus Christi, and I was over at St. John's, and Father José Luis had a need here at Corpus Christi with the youth group ministry. And he says, Tony, why don't you come here and help me here? I could use your help. And I fell in love with the parish. Even though that by trade, I'm an air conditioning mechanic. I used to take care of the air conditioning here before Father José Luis got here. So I'm talking in the early 80s. I've been taking care of this place. And so Father José Luis gets here, and of course, an old friend, and you can't say no to a friend. And especially when you have someone who's as committed, an individual as Father Menéndez is, and Father José Luis, to us, and just bought into it.
So you started as a deacon here in our parish?
Well, I started, I think I was in year 4 of my formation classes.
Yes.
And And you know, the funny thing, here's another anecdote, to another story to tell. I used to come, and Father José Luis says, start coming to Mass. And I would come to the 9 o'clock Mass. And I fell in love with the parish. And the work that I could do in the ministry that I would be able to do, especially with the youth. I've always been had this place in my heart for the youth ministry. And I remember sitting in the back one Sunday, and I said to myself, you know, Lord, if you really want me to come here, because it hurt me to leave St. John's. I knew there was an incredible need here. You know, I had gone through so many years at St. John's. But then I asked the Lord during the Mass, I says, Lord, if you really want me to be here, I will make my decision, and I will know that you want me to be here when I hear the gospel that you should shake the sandals off your feet and continue your mission. Mm-hmm. The next Sunday, I come to Mass. And guess which gospel they read?
That one.
So there was no doubt. There was no doubt in my mind, in my heart, that this is where God wanted me to be. And so I began working with youth ministry, and you know, back then, Dalia, who's running this video camera right now, she was 10, 11 years old.
Yeah.
You know, so it's been a while, and I've seen them grow. And one of the things that I had asked my Lord while I was discerning the diaconate was that He would allow me an answer while I was still young enough to be able to work with the youth ministry. I didn't want to give the church my bones. I wanted to give the church my enthusiasm while I still had it.
Yeah, and youth ministry is so important. But there is no doubt that you have a charisma for that ministry. People love you, even though you are growing up. Still, the young of the parish look up to you. Yeah. And but something that you do here in our parish, and someone said to me once, and they said, Father, you are lucky. You have Deacon Tony there. I said, no, we are not lucky. We are blessed. We are really blessed to have you here. And Tony, you are information a lot. I see you with the RCIA, and explain a little bit what do you do here? You know,
that's another one of the joys that the Lord has blessed me with. You know, when I was younger, I never had a Catholic education. You got to remember, my mom and dad lived the faith. They were limited, even though my mom is a catechist and been a catechist here for almost 40 years at Corpus Christi. I didn't have the meat and potatoes, you know, to really understand the faith, to really know and understand what the creed that we recite means, what the sacraments are all about. And I yearned. And I remember asking the Lord to please reveal that to me so that I could share it one day. And that's exactly what happened when I came here. Father José Luis says, besides the youth ministry, can you help us with the formation? Back then, there was very little. And there was only like a short formation week program. Right. And it's grown now to be a year. And I always tell...
And you do it in English and Spanish.
Right. We have it in English and Spanish. And we begin on the first Tuesday of September in Spanish, and on the first Thursday of September.
But you look like you enjoy it.
Oh, I truly do, Father. To me, that's not work. In fact, work, I'm dying to get out of work so that I could come here, because there's the joy. You got to remember, in my ability to be able to do what I had asked God that I wanted to do for Him, so that I could fill the voids of other young men like I was one time, when I was yearning. I want to know my faith. Yeah. I want to know the Lord. There's got to be so much more. And then be able to bring it across with passion, with joy. Yeah. And that's important. You know, that this past year we just had one gentleman who, and this is one of these stories that blows you away. We had a young man who was in the world doing what the world does. And one day he's walking by St. Francis St. Clair, one of our missions here on Biscayne and 29th Street. And he says he looks and he sees the glass doors. And he's able to see through the door. And you know, the connection there is that when we had regular black doors, wooden doors to match the motif of the building, Father Jose Luis, we were doing the window. He says, you know what, let's put glass window doors there so people can see the Mass from the outside. Right. Powerful. Here's a young man, years later, Father, telling me that he was walking by and he saw the glass doors and he saw the Mass was ongoing, and something moved his heart to go inside. And you know, when you walk through that threshold, the toughest step is the one that gets you in the building. Right. And once you're inside, he fell in love. And this young man is on fire for the Lord right now. And so he was just baptized as an adult in his 20s. He graduates from FIU at the same time that he is baptized into the church. And he has this incredible quote that I will always remember, because those stories are the ones that you can share that make sense to everyone. He says, Tony, I was born agnostic. I became an atheist, but I'm going to die Catholic. Wow. Isn't that powerful? Oh, wonderful. And we're talking a young man in his 20s. And we talk about, well, the world is lost. Where's everything? Right. Well, there's no hope. And here you see these stories. And everyone who walks in through those doors has a story. Right. And has a story. And he's bringing his family into the church. That's powerful. And to be able to play a part in that. And what we don't know is, and we know that because we've worked in youth ministry, you're throwing out seeds, and there will be fruits from these trees that are going to grow, but we're not going to see it in this lifetime. Right. But we will all benefit from those fruits. Right. I hear that those stories all the time of people that I don't remember. He said, Father, you remember that you did? I really forgot. He said, no. I'm here because of something you did or whatever. We had to finish, Deacon, but I want to tell the people something that is going to be an interesting new thing here in our church, is that these classes that we have of the RCIA formation of catechumens are going to be broadcast, and it's going to be something new. I mean, a lot of people can take advantage and renew their faith. Sometimes their faith is coming from First Communion classes or confirmation classes. Now is a way to renew our faith. So there will be people, catechumens, that are preparing for the sacrament, but at the same time, you are going to have the possibility of renew our faith through the formation we are going to have with Deacon Tony in English and in Spanish. And we are trying to even have a phone so that people can call in and have questions and so on and so forth. So it's a new thing that we are having in the middle of this pandemic. In English it's pandemic. And so we are so blessed to have you, Tony. Thank you, Father. And we are going to learn a lot from these classes that we are going to have every Tuesday, every Thursday. So we welcome to those classes for the first time. We're going to broadcast those classes, and people just can tell us this is watching. And I'll tell you, Father, one of the and you bring to light, a lot of times we think we know our faith because we've been practicing it for a while. We're so-called cradle Catholics. Right. We go to Mass on Sunday, and there's even the very first thing that we do the first 3 weeks. The first 3 weeks are we take the Mass from beginning to end, one step at a time. And one of the things that, as I've been asked to go in so many of the parishes in the archdiocese to talk about the Mass, and it's always the same response that you get at the end. I didn't know. I didn't know how rich it was. And because no one had ever presented it that way. And so we go to Mass because we gotta be faithful to that third commandment, and we fulfill the commandment, but we lack the love that is required to be able to come to know Christ in a way that it changes our lives. And if we don't go to Mass, we miss something. We miss something. There has to be that emptiness. And so the first 3 weeks of the class, it's nothing but the Mass.
So it's going to start the classes on September.
Yeah,
what
and
day?
it will be. It all depends on where Labor Day falls.
All right, so
right?
it will be right after probably.
The week after Labor Day, the first Tuesday.
Okay, we will announce it
Absolutely.
ahead of time. So it's going to be Tuesdays in Spanish, correct? And
Yes, sir.
Thursdays in English.
In English. Mhm.
In English, perfect. So we will tell them the hour and everything and we will be ready for that time. Deacon Tony, thank you.
You're quite
I
welcome.
want to say not only thank you to you, I want to say thank you to Myra and your daughters because
They
they
deserve it.
lend you here.
Yes,
Okay?
absolutely.
You are a married man,
Yeah.
and I heard you one time that you were preaching here in our church, and you said they never complain. They never complain. So it's the same service. It's service of
Right.
the wife, the family, together with you, and it's a blessing to have you. You are a role model for a lot of people.
Glory be to God.
Thank you for your commitment.
Thank you.
Thank you for your commitment. I wish we can have more people like Tony, not only as deacon, okay, not only deacon, but as a man, as a regular man, married man. You are a regular example of what Jesus is all about.
Thank you.
Here. Thank you, Tony, again. Thank you. Thank you for listening. It's a blessing to have Deacon. As you know, he is a good preacher. Every Sunday he preaches at Mass at 9 o'clock, most of the times. When you allow me, I preach also, okay?
Yeah, we go back and forth. Who tells the better story?
Yeah, we love the same style of preaching. Thank you. God bless you. And may God bless you all. And we will see each other again next week.
God bless.